right. How's that? Can you hear me? Okay, good. Well, I apologize if I make sniffing noises today because I have a sniffing thing, apparently. Welcome to spring that you have to scrape off your windshield. So, well, let's, as always, ring the bell 3 times, and we can let that sound and vibration bring us into this room, bring us into our bodies and all that we're experiencing, and most importantly, bring us together into this practice. We can also begin by saying the refuge prayer. And the refuge prayer is about us being able to simultaneously find peace and ease in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. The Buddha not just being a historical figure, but what that historical figure taught us and still teaches us, that we all have the innate ability to awaken spontaneously in this moment, in each and every moment, in fact. The Dharma are the teachings that help us to explore as individuals those teachings that we can find wisdom in, that we can apply to our own lives. And the Sangha, which is this like-minded group of people coming together in support of each other without even one word. So if you'd like to join me in saying the refuge prayer 3 times. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened, through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened, through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened, through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. Brother Dorje, would you reach over and just turn that up just a tiny, no, the speaker. Just the main volume, yeah. Yeah, that's the big knob. Just up a couple clicks. Yeah. How's that? Can you hear me now? Is there something coming out of it? Sound? Sound? Hello? Hello? A little? A little? Nothing? Yes? Okay. All right. Welcome to Technical Challenges. All right. In our practice here together, we seek to experientially explore those teachings that we as individuals can deem to be undeniably right, wise, complete, and true. All of the teachings that point to our wisdom. We seek to do no harm in our practice, and we seek to benefit all beings. So as we begin our meditation practice this morning, our body, speech, and mind will be the tools that we use. Our posture and breath are very important in the meditation process. So you want to straighten your spine, not too tight, not too loose. Remember, as you sit, if you need to adjust. This is not complicated. It doesn't need to be about sitting in discomfort or too much discomfort. Uncomfortable things will arise, and we can check in with those. We can be aware of them, we can release them, and return to our breath again and again and again. So as we breathe, breathing into the lower belly is also essential. So as you breathe in, you want to actually feel your navel move out. So breathe in through the nose if you can, and feel the belly move out, and then exhale fully. So in fully, deeply, and then out fully. Yeah? We'll also do a little bit of chanting. And as we chant, we use the sound and vibration of our voices to help us sort of center, give you something to checking in with that, just the sensation of making the vibration and sound. What does it feel like? What does it sound like to make sound? Don't get too caught up in the words or the translations or the meanings. We're not doing any magic here. We are just attempting to focus our attention in not so many ways, just one, and allow us to settle into our breath. So traditionally, we chant for a little bit and then we winnow down to where we're just sort of melding and merging with silence. And at that point, we can also continue to chant inside, not making any sound, but still hearing the sound and vibration within without making a sound. You want to try that? We'll chant Lama Chenno, which translates as calling in the Lama, or more specifically means awakening your inner teacher. Yeah? Lama Chenno, Lama Chenno, Lama Che Chenno, 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 Lama Chenno, Lama Chenno, Lama Chenno, Lama Chenno, Lama Chenno, Lama Chenno. Lama Chenno, Lama Chenno, Lama Chenno, Lama Chenno, Lama Chenno, Lama Chenno. Allow your breath to find its natural rhythm. Breathe, relax, center and smile. Befriending yourself, befriending the world. Relax and release all the physical and mental tensions. Focus on your inhalation and relax on your exhalation. As thoughts arise, acknowledge them, release them, and return to your inhalation. Thoughts and sensations and emotions will continue to arise in this human form that's natural and shouldn't be judged. We're simply retraining our minds to react in a not so reactive way to that stimulus. We're letting go of the habitual and neurotic tendencies and our preoccupations. Just let go. Let come and go. Let everything be just as it is. There's nirvanic peace in things left just as they are. See through yourself. See Buddha. Be Buddha. We're just sitting, just breathing, and just being, with nowhere else to go and nothing to do, nothing special to be or become. Nothing to fix, nothing to fabricate, nothing to control or manipulate. Simply letting all things just rest as they are. mani padme hum. Om 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 mani padme It's interesting to have a little cold or whatever's going on here. And making that part of my practice. I know that in the past I can very easily get into this, as most men do, get stuck in the suffering of whatever's going on, and I'm gonna die. So it's been interesting to have just a little self-care and a little compassion and feel sensations that I don't really think that I want. But looking at my reaction to that stimulus. In our practice here, we practice cultivating a space of awareness between stimulus and response. Does that make sense to everybody? So instead of just hearing a sound and reacting, or feeling a sensation and reacting, feeling an emotion or having a thought and immediately just unconsciously reacting, that we can cultivate a continual awareness. Now, as I've said before, I question whether constant enlightenment is possible in the human form. Because we are humans. We have human reactions. A loud sound goes off, and we're startled. We check for our safety first. Is that a Buddhist element? Is that calm abiding? Probably not. Probably not. But that's okay. What we do to train ourselves is to make a quick assessment in awareness of our safety, of our condition, of what's going on, and then return to that place of calm abiding. Again and again and again. And it's really just a training over time. It's not easy when we start. We think, oh, I'm doing it again. I'm thinking. Shame on you for having a brain that's whole job is to think. Well, not its whole job, but you understand where I'm going. There's this vessel that we are experiencing all this through. Sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, thought, emotion. All of those things are active responses in our human form. And we have to cut ourselves a little slack in that. And when we do, we've given ourselves the ability and the permission to find that calm abiding, rather than continually getting stuck in that rotation of, I'm going to beat myself up because I'm imperfect. Well, have you figured out the perfect thing? Perfect is as perfect does. Perfect is what it is. All things in their natural state are perfect. That makes sense? A sick body in the sick state is perfect as it is. Water is perfect as it is. Air, elements, thought, all perfect as they are, doing what they do. Not separate. Over this time of practice, the more we practice, the easier it becomes. I've done the exercise in here. I won't do it today because I don't want anyone to have heart failure, where I make the really loud sound. And you have that reaction immediately. Oh, shoot. But then when I do it the second time, it's not the same. It doesn't have the same impact. In fact, it's less so. Works the same way with chocolate cake. That first bite, oh, chocolate cake. Second bite, oh, chocolate cake. Third bite, yeah, chocolate cake. And it diminishes, right? Our reaction diminishes as well, as we can change our relationship with that reaction. It's not new, right? So when we have a moment of reaction that we are aware of, and we can release it and return to our calm abiding, we've just created a new pathway, right? We've embraced a new way. And sometimes it works for you to go right back to it the next time and not get caught in it, and sometimes it doesn't. But it does get easier and easier and easier. And over time, this gives way to a process that's sort of a surrender. We're just surrendering into this beingness rather than continual doingness and continual trying to fix itness. We learn to cultivate some compassion towards ourselves, and that can become a recurring theme. That I'm just a human having a human reaction. Again, because I'm still alive, and that's a good thing. We're still experiencing all we're experiencing. And I know this may sound oversimplified, But as I sit here in robes in front of all this and knowing that there are thousands of books on the subject of Buddhism, that we continually overcomplicate this process. We continually overcompensate it. We continually try to learn something new rather than just uncovering the ability that we already have. And it is just the awareness that we're having a reaction. The awareness that something is happening. Not unconscious, not detached. We're not distracting ourselves from our discomfort, which is what we typically do. We're simply sitting in this experience. When we're sitting and the itch comes up on our leg, and we think, would a Zen master scratch? Or shall I sit here? We can be aware and awake of that itch and our intended response to immediately scratch it, because that's what we normally do, right? But that awakening, awareness, I was going to scratch and I didn't. And now I will because it itches. And then continue. Return to the awareness. Return to the awareness of breath. Breath is not magical. It doesn't make anything, it doesn't make any sparkly things happen. It's just always accessible to us. There are other practices that maybe use a candle flame, or they focus or put their attention on a spot on the wall, or whatever it might be. The breath goes with us everywhere, so that's why I continually use it. We'll always have it as long as we're alive, so we can always take note and be awake and aware of the sensation of our breath. It's always an accessible tool for us. And then we just sit and breathe and be. Last week we talked about Lama Surya Dasa's teaching that he says, don't be like a dog running after every stick and bone. Be like a lion and jump right onto the thrower. Gaze nakedly upon your mind's nature. So with what I just said about our awareness, think about that. Not running after distractions, not running after the next book, not running after a colored robe or an image. Run after your awareness. Your awareness, not anyone else's. You can't learn it from anyone else. You get to embrace your own ability. Your teacher is within. Just embrace it now. There's no time to lose. And we can do it spontaneously in each and every moment. Each one of those moments of awareness, of awakening, is a moment of enlightenment. It's not something that you'll achieve 10 years from now. You may achieve it 10 years from now, and every moment in between. Surya also says, life is fragile, tenuous, challenging, and miraculous. Handle with prayer. Handle with intention. Recognize the true nature of reality. Think about what that means for a moment. The true nature of reality. All of those sensations and emotions, thoughts, being experienced through this vessel. This is your lens. This is how you can see all of reality, feel all of reality, interact with all of reality that is not separate from this, or this, or this. See the Buddha light in everyone and everything. Unconditional love is far beyond the dichotomies of like and dislike. I always know I'm off track when I think, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that chanting thing. I don't like it. I don't like that sound. I don't like this sensation. But I know that I've stopped. I know that I'm not really embracing the experience when I'm stuck in like and dislike. Both of those are obstacles. I like this blissful feeling. Guess what? Obstacle. Because why? Because we like to grasp onto things that we enjoy, to comfort. And that's not our awakening. Our awakening is on the other side of those sensations and that connection. Letting go and letting be as everything is. He says, truth without love kills. Love without truth is blind. Wisdom without compassion is sterile. Loving and caring with affectionate appreciation all the way to enlightenment. And that starts here. Simplify your life, purify your intention, and refine the spirited heart and mind which animate you. You are far more beautiful than you think. Love yourself, accept yourself, and the world will embrace you. When you abide in the true heartland, there's no need to look anywhere else. I don't know if that can be any more direct. We have to stop looking at our obstacles. We have to stop looking at our displeasure and our pleasure and look beyond to the entire experience. Yes, I'm experiencing some displeasure, but I have a tissue. And all things are impermanent. And that's uncomfortable and comfortable. So embrace this awakening power that you have, this spontaneous awareness that you can embrace in each and every moment. That's ours to do. That is your path. Not trying to create something from sitting a certain way or holding a certain instrument or reading a certain book. It's about spontaneous, awakened awareness. Can't get any simpler than that. So don't overcomplicate this. Continue to check in. That's why I say don't read. Or if you do read, practice twice as long as you read. Because the practice of that awakened awareness is really where the rubber meets the road. Nowhere else. You may have an aha moment reading something on a page because it resonates and it feels like something we're reminded of, and we embrace that. That's not the teaching. The teaching is the application of that awakened awareness with that awakened knowledge. Yeah? So, next weekend, next Saturday, in fact, we have our our first half-day Buddhist meditation retreat with our new center. So it'll be at Plaza Wellspring, which is over off of 43rd, 47th and State Line, I think. This is a really good opportunity to practice that awakened awareness. We'll work with some breath and energy, and we'll work with different postures and talk about the process of meditation as well as practice some meditation. Practice some awakened awareness, some natural awareness. So if you haven't signed up for this, there's still about half the spots are open still. So these are in the lobby out front, so grab one on your way out. What else? What else is going on? Not a lot, actually. We're working on some of the calendar for later this year, when we'll do the Foundations of Buddhism again, and Refuge, and some meditation classes, workshops, that sort of thing. So there's also a little red donation box out there that loves to be stimulated with a little awakened generosity. So with all of that, there are some snacks downstairs and some coffee. That seems like a really good idea on this cold morning. And a group of like-minded individuals that like to gather and snack and coffee and talk about just anything. So I encourage you to explore that and make a new friend today. Introduce yourself to someone new. And with that and everything that we do here, we dedicate the merit, the achievement of this awakened awareness for the benefit of all beings everywhere, not just for ourselves or not just for this group. We hope that by us being awake and aware in our lives, that we are positively impacting those around us. Just think of the ripple effect of that awakened awareness when you're in traffic. Yeah. So with that, we like to use our bodhicitta dedication as our moment of intentional awareness that those benefits are shared by everyone. May the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. May the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. May the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. Body, speech, and mind directed toward awakening and for the benefit of all beings without one single exception. Thanks, all you Buddhas. Now go have snacks.